Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario. This right here is my dog Lily, and this is another episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups, where we're going to go over a lot of stuff that we have picked up here recently. I'm actually going to be going thrifting again here soon with a friend. However, I have enough stuff in this episode where I'm like, you know what? I should hammer out this episode and then do another haul separately. So, this is all going to be, a bit of stuff we got. Some of it I got just, during like one day in the week, like 1 or 2 days, and then I also went on a sale day. So I'm also going to try something different with the microphone here. I'm actually kind of flipping it to myself, so hopefully it sounds a little bit different, a little bit better. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and look at all of this stuff. Now, for anybody that does not know, Thrifting Gaming Pickups is a bit of a impromptu show that I do like this, or a little bit of a episodic series on my second channel. Yes, second channel. If you're interested in seeing more content that is better shot, better produced and all that stuff and more technical, link is down below in the description to my main channel where you can check things out. That is my dog Lily right here, who is in every single episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups. We've made it so much of a habit where, well, kind of a tradition, where there's times where I can film episodes, but if I don't have her, the episode does not get filmed. So let's go ahead and look into this big haul of things that we got. So I'm just going to kind of go over and say, the stories of all the things I got here, as I normally do, and tell you all a little bit about them, the price I paid, all that fun stuff, and we'll be good. And yes, there is the Xbox right there. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Trust me. So Lily, you ready to get into this? Ready? Yeah, she's ready. All right. So first off, I actually picked this up like 1 or 2 episodes ago, and I keep forgetting to show it. But as you can see right here, trying to get it in, I'm just disabling autofocus on here. This is a horrible performance-branded PlayStation or PlayStation 2. I'm pretty sure it's just regular PlayStation controller, which I have no intention of using. But it has a pretty nice controller extension, and I believe this was half off as well, so I figured for $3.50 this is a horrible controller I could kind of laugh at one point, and then it has a, solid controller extension that I don't really see many of, so I mostly got it for this. So $3.50 for this whole setup right here. But then we're going to get into the actual games, which as you can see, we got a lot of. So first off right here, end up going to a Savers and got each of these. Now, neither of these games I own, surprisingly enough, and they were a little bit on the higher side, like they were $4 each, but what I normally do when it comes to something like that, if it's like a cheap game, I'll normally pick it up, but if it's a little more, and to me expensive is like $4 or $5 or more, I normally look online and just see, can I get it cheaper online? And if the answer to that is no, I'll normally pick it up in store. But I got Sega Bass Fishing Duel. This just looks absolutely hilarious. And Midnight Club 2, which is surprisingly another Rockstar game that I just did not own a physical copy of. I do have it on PC, but that's it. I just have it on Steam, which, I don't really like having the digital copies all that much, unless it's on PC, of course. But yeah, I got a physical PS2 copy now, which is great. Also ended up grabbing a few original Xbox games. So right here, I ended up grabbing Counter-Strike and Need for Speed Underground. Now, this game I am going to have to get resurfaced. I've actually tried to rip it a couple times, cleaned up as well too, and for anyone that doesn't know, I do modding and all that stuff on the side and on my main channel as well. So normally when I get these original Xbox games, I immediately clean them up, pop them into my Xbox, and rip the contents over, like transfer them over through FTP. I've tried 2 or 3 times, I've cleaned it 2 or 3 times, does not work, so I'm going to get it resurfaced. Thankfully, there's a place I know where they will resurface discs for $1, so that's not all bad there. But all these games I actually got, these ones I got from the same store. So again, Counter-Strike, Need for Speed Underground on the original Xbox, and then for these games right here, end up getting DOA 2 Hardcore, which is a game that I actually used to have. Now, the only downside to this is it does not have a manual. Unfortunately, no manual. That was kind of a bummer. But at the price, I said, you know what, screw it, it's all good. And one thing that actually did surprise me, for some reason, I always thought this game was a CD, but it's actually on a DVD. I completely forgot. Right there. But no, this was a very enjoyable game. Never played it on Dreamcast, but I own this on PS2. Enjoyed it quite a bit. Summoner. I've never seen this in a thrift shop, so I saw it and I was just kind of dumbfounded. So I ended up grabbing this. I've never played it, never owned it, so that's going to be fun to check out. And finally, Scarface The World Is Yours. This is actually probably in the best condition that I've seen out of the things that I picked up from this shop. And on top of that, check it out, it is very complete. It has all the booklets, manuals, and everything, and also this Scarface bonus DVD as well too. So I've heard this game was fun. I've also heard this game is bad. We'll see. We'll see. I've never owned it, so that's going to be a nice addition. All of these games, by the way, in this stack right here, were $2.50 each, so that's why I felt okay getting them. You know what? At that price, it's okay. And then, of course, right here for Counter-Strike, you know, we can say $3.50 since I'm going to have to resurface that. But either way, let's go ahead and move on to a few other games that we got right here that Lily is sniffing. She's really liking the PS2 games. Now these games I did pay like the same price on each of them, but I kind of separated them out according to console and such, so getting into this. So for these games right here, some of them I got from Savers, some of them I got from Salvation Army out of, you know, these two titles. But I end up getting Conflict Desert Storm on the original Xbox, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Greg Hastings Tournament Paintball, had no idea it was an Xbox exclusive, never owned that. Project Gotham Racing 2 with the arcade disc. The reason why I got this, because some people who've been watching loyally, and thank you so much for that, some people might say, oh, you already got that. Well, this one is complete. It has everything with it, and the discs are in pristine condition, so I'm just upgrading my current copy, and then I'll, you know, get rid of my other one. I have a duplicate now, but this one's in much better condition, and is complete, which is why I picked it up. Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Now check this out. I'm just going to get into a little bit of a story here. So I really like the Lord of the Rings games on the original, like on the PS2 and the original Xbox. This game right here, I ended up, I've never played it. So I played Return of the King and I played a lot of the Two Towers. Now again, you know, I rip over my games and all that stuff. So I have on my hard drive like my collection of games and everything. So I picked this up and I saw another game. And when I got home, I decided to look. And when I looked, I was like, oh no, I like that game, but I don't own it on the original Xbox. But I really like it, but I don't own it, and they had it. So I actually ended up going back to the same store a day later, and I picked it up. And that game was Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, which I now own on all the platforms. See, I got confused because I own it on GameCube. At one point, I had like 4 copies of it on PS2 because I'd gotten them for free or through exchanges, whatever it was. And I sold all of them except for one. I have 1 copy on PS2 now. I kept my best copy and I sold the other ones. But because of that, because I've owned so many copies of Two Towers, I didn't think that I thought I already had it on Xbox, but I looked on my game list and I was like, no, I have this. And then even when I remember I was sitting there in the store and I saw this and I was like, nah, I already own that. But no, I got home and I have The Return of the King, I think the third something, I don't remember what it is, but I have Fellowship, I had Return of the King, I had like the Third Age or something like that, but I did not have Two Towers, so now I have Two Towers, which some nice nostalgia right there. I also like getting multiplats on Xbox if I can, because, you know, 480p and anything higher, just the progressive scan looks so nice, and the video quality, the video output you can get from an original Xbox is just so clean. I love it. So yeah, these were $3 a piece. Moving on, also got a stack of PS2 games. This kind of also varied from Savers and Salvation Army as well. End up getting, because, you know, I got the Harry Potter game. I said, I know I have the first one on PS1. I saw these other ones and I figured I'd grab them. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Grand Theft Auto 3. This one I kind of fell into a bit of a nostalgia trap. I was like, you know what? I know this is, because I don't believe I have my copy that I grew up with me of either of these games, but I know this one I have a duplicate of now. I did pick up a duplicate. Sometimes also hit me. And with Vice City, I have the Greatest Hits version, but I did not have the Black Label version in my library, so got these two. I think, let me check real quick. This one is complete. This is another thing that kind of led me to it as well. And this one, let me check and see, is, oh, I'm so glad I opened this. This was funny. This is not complete. It does not have the map, but it has 2 copies of Grand Theft Auto 3. So I kind of opened that up. I was like, oh, okay, I'll still get it. But yeah, no. So I ended up getting a triple, I guess, because even if I didn't own this game, I already own a duplicate right off the bat. So 2 copies of Grand Theft Auto 3, excuse me. Vice City. Sonic Mega Collection Plus, which I have never owned. And I just have to show you all this real quick. I just find this to be a little bit funny here. If I flip it over, to me, I'm going to change the focus a little bit just so you all can see this. But to me, this just screams bootleg. I'm not saying this is bootleg. This is a official copy, and this is officially printed and licensed and everything. This is an official release, 100% legitimate and genuine. But it's just, the cover art back here made me laugh because I was like, this honestly looks like something I would find at a bootleg marketplace somewhere. Like, if you go to Mexico, or like, I'm thinking like, if you go to the Middle East, like, you would find these multi-game type releases here. And it's just, the cover, like, the front looks fine. Like, that looks great to me. But it's just something with the design, something with the graphic design to the back of this just screams bootleg to me. I don't know what it is. Let me know what your thoughts are. I just found that to be a little bit funny. But moving on. Got Tony Hawk's American Wasteland Special Edition, which I actually own this on PS2, but I have the regular edition. Have the Special Edition now, which apparently, what makes it so special? It says it has exclusive Classic Mode levels, well, 2 exclusive Classic Mode levels, 2 exclusive secret characters, making of American Wasteland documentary, and concept art gallery featuring Jimbo Phillips. So those are the bonuses. That's why I end up picking this thing up right here. And finally, ATV Off-Road Fury 4, which I believe I have 1 through 3, but I never owned 4. And also, this is a not-for-resale copy I purchased, funny enough. So yeah, those are all of the PS2 and Xbox games I at least got in those stacks right there. And I also end up getting some PSP titles, which I'm also going to kind of interject with a story, funny enough. So I end up getting these 2, which these were $2 each. This was Transformers Revenge of the Fallen and Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, the video game. Now, the reason why I was going to get into a story here is because there was a younger guy who was doing the checkout and everything. I think he might have been like 17 or 18, something like that. And what happened was when he grabbed these games, and he was talking and talking and talking, but it was interesting to talk to him. Now, he was just like, oh man, do you know what this reminds me of? Have you seen the Switch? I was like, yeah. He's like, have you seen the games? I was like, yes, I own a Switch. He's like, man, like, it's crazy because, the game is like this and it's big, but then you open it and like you have all this space and the game is like that big. Like, why would you have all that space? And I actually explained to him, like, my opinion on it. I was telling him the reason why is because, small form factor, that's what they chose for the game. But over here, worldwide in the US and everything, they as a Nintendo, wanted to give it some type of uniform property and have it be taken seriously. And I used the GameCube as an example. I said that the GameCube, the original GameCube, well, the only GameCube. And actually, to facilitate this story, let me grab a example real quick. Now, the GameCube ended up having, cases such as this. So that PS2 had just standard DVD cases. The Xbox, again, standard DVD cases. The GameCube, in Japan at least, had these cases right here that were much smaller, in my opinion, much better looking, but, cute and playful at the same time, and not to be taken as seriously when you put them on your shelf. It looks like, a kiddie toy of some kind. So, to end up, and I don't have a GameCube game, at least in this haul, but to, have them be uniform with everything else, they end up putting these small little mini disc games inside of big cases such as this. And that's what I explained to him. I said, that's probably why they end up putting it there, because, at least in the US, bigger is better. So if something is bigger, it's going to be taken seriously. If something is small and cute like this, it's not going to be taken seriously. It's going to be, small and cute. So he was saying, he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense. Now, the reason why I'm getting into that story is because these games, the games I got from Savers, they didn't have prices on them. So he was like, these ones right here, these are the bigger ones. I'll go ahead and do $3 on each of these, and since these ones are smaller, I'll do $2 on them. And I just laughed. I was like, You know what I just told you? You just acted out right there. You priced these ones, and I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying, you priced these ones cheaper than these other games because they're smaller. And he thought about it and he laughed. So I just thought that was a little funny story that happened with that all. But yeah, no, for anybody else that doesn't know about, the GameCube, yeah, this right here is a Japanese GameCube release. As you can see, small and cute. Like, I like these. These are cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and go on to the last few games we end up grabbing here, which I'm going to have to physically move over. So end up going to another shop and grabbed these 3 games, which this is Clue on the Sega Genesis. It has the cover art, it has the cartridge, but unfortunately, it does not have, let me change this around a little bit, there we go. It does not have the manual with it. A little bit of a disappointment, but for $1.50, you know what? Awesome. Never heard of this. Championship Bowling. This unfortunately was not in as good of shape. As you can see, the protective sleeve on the outside has been removed. It does not have the come on, open. Ah, man, that is hard to do. With one hand at least. It does not have the manual, but it is the cartridge only with the case and the cover art there. It's also the little handle here that these would be used to hang on in stores has been cut off. This is also $1.50. This didn't have a price on it, but the lady was just like, hey, since this is going to be, because it's half off, she's like, since this is $1.50, can this one be the same thing? And her manager said yes. And then this right here was $3. This is Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2. Good game. I did not have it on PS2, so decided to pick it up on PS2. And there we go. Now, for the last shop I ended up going to, I'm going to cover these real quick. Now, I'm going to move this to the side. Just moving that over. So I end up getting Wipeout Pure for PSP right here. This is complete, in pretty solid shape for $5. I didn't really get a discount on these ones, but I was like, you know what, these are solid. But these are probably, actually out of everything, these are the most expensive games I got. Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 2, again, $5. And The Godfather, the game, which there was a different variant of this for every console it came out at the time, but this is $5. I got this on the original Xbox now. I own it on 360, no longer have it anymore, but yeah, have an Xbox copy of it. Now, the reason why I end up moving this over, which I'm going to explain, is I also end up grabbing this thing right here, which, you know what? I got clickbaited with. Check this out. Well, I'm saying clickbaited. But, this is a Xbox 360 Slim 4GB model. And I thought of it. I was like, you know what? It says, well, it's $58 right there. So it would be half of that, because this was on sale for half price. So it would have been $29. It was $29 because I paid for it. But I was saying, you know what? For a Slim, that's going to be a pretty good price. So awesome. I'll probably pick it up. Now, I asked to see it, and when I saw it, I looked inside the box, and check this out. It's a fat system, but not only is it a fat system, it has a... Man, I got to move this a little bit. Hold on. So there we go. That is the console we got. We got a core version. This is an arcade, excuse me. This is the arcade model, not the core model. But we end up getting a core model, Xbox 360, a fat one nonetheless, and also it came with a slim power supply and the AV cables that came with a slim and a slim box. So I thought this was really funny. Now, logically, you'd probably be thinking, oh, the family who had it before, they probably upgraded from this system, the old fat 360, to this guy right here, and then they donated it. Well, that's probably what happened, but I also don't think they were power users either. You see, the reason why I got this, some people might be saying, another 360? I did look at it because, one, it's actually in pretty great shape. Two, it also... I didn't buy it only because of this, but I saw this had the top hard drive cover, which I never see these on systems now. So I was like, oh, damn, that's cool. And actually, look at this. Look at this. I hadn't cleaned this yet, but there's dust right there. So that means that this console was carefully donated, which I can appreciate. That means they probably just had this sitting somewhere, it was collecting dust, and they said, oh, wait, this went with the 360, we need to put that on before we donate it, which I appreciate. Thank you very much. It's not like this is super valuable or anything, but I do like that I have, that protective cover right there. And then on top of that, we're going to see if we could look inside of here at all. You can't really see it, but trust me. This is a Jasper motherboard. So good condition, you know, it's $29, which I felt like was fair. Jasper motherboard, so I didn't have to worry about it not working, which trust me, it does work. And now, also, I turned it on, so I turned it on to make sure it works, and I heard the disk drive spinning. And it came with this game, which I have absolutely no interest in, and it is probably worth about as much as a coaster, but NCAA Basketball 2010. Now, when I mentioned earlier, I don't think these people who donated were power users. The reason why I said is because I checked this. First off, this Xbox has not been updated in a long time. Unfortunately, it's not a JTAGable Xbox, but it can take RGH1 because it's on like kernel 1, 2, like 12 something. It's on a 12,000 series kernel, which right now while I'm recording this video, the latest kernel out is 17.511. So there we go. We end up getting a older updated 360 that, to be honest, probably has never even been taken online. It had one account on it, and when I looked, there were 2 game saves on there. One of them was for NCAA Basketball 2010, and the other one was for another sports game from 2010. So whoever bought this just bought this to play 2 sports games. They never took it online. They never had any interest in taking it online, and they haven't played any games on it that are older than 2009 or 2010, because like let me see when this game came out. Hold on. Yeah, this is copyrights 2009. For anyone that doesn't follow sports games at all, normally if it's a 10, you minus 1 year, and that's when it came out. So, you know, NCAA Basketball 2010, yeah, this game came out in 2009. So, yeah, this game hasn't had, I mean, it's 2018 by the time this video comes out, so this hasn't had anything else run on it, which I just find to be really funny. So that means that it is taken care of quite well. So we have another Jasper to add to the collection. It's hard for me to pass up on Jaspers. I would just say that's hard for me to pass up on it. It's in great shape, and again, has never been taken online, nothing like that. If I do glitch it, though, I'm probably not going to do an RGH1 to it. I'll probably still do an RGH2, because RGH 1.2, excuse me, because RGH 1.2 is pretty solid. So even my friend Tony, who builds consoles and such, he's talked with me about this, and because I've told him, like, oh yeah, no, an RGH1 would be better than a 1.2, and he's like, actually, no, if you do an RGH 1.2 properly, I can outdo a RGH1 with a proper RGH 1.2 build, so that'll be fun to check out. But yeah, these are all the things I end up getting for this haul, so, well, except for the GameCube game, obviously, and except for the dog. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, a like would very much be appreciated. If you absolutely hated it, a dislike is fine as well, too. But just to let you know, if you do hit and dislike this video, you're gonna make this dog here very, very sad. Oh, and damn it, I totally forgot, so I'm just dropping this right at the end here. I also got this, in case you cannot recognize it at all, which I do not blame you, because, I'm going to just unwind it here, one-handed, if I can. I do not blame you, because it was all wound up. Yeah, I know I'm not taking the best care of this, but oh well, it's still going to work. I got a original Duke Xbox controller. I did probably overpay a little bit for this, but you know what? It's kind of dirty, but it does work. I do need it cleaned up, but I paid $7 for this controller right here. I have a sweet spot for the Duke. I don't know what it is, but I've always enjoyed the Duke. I've liked the controller. I've liked the shape of it for whatever reason, which I can't really tell you all why. There we go. That's focused enough. But the start and back buttons, they are better here on the S. But I don't know why, for whatever reason, I never got used to the black and white buttons. See, I got the Xbox when it first came out, so the black and white buttons, they got moved down here. And I don't know, I was never able to 100% get used to that. It's just ingrained in my memory that they should be at the top of the controller. I'm going to move down here a little bit so this looks better. But yeah, this is it, Duke. I do need to take it apart, clean it and everything, but I saw this and I kind of just giggled a little bit, and I'm like, yes, I need one. I haven't had one in years. The one I owned got broken by some kids, so happy to now have one that works, but it does need a good cleaning. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off for this time. Let everyone like if you like, dislike if you didn't like. If you didn't like it and you dislike, you're going to make this dog sad. Very, very, very sad.